Hi, this is Peter Godinez, KADYTV.net, and Good Morning Oxnard. Now, I have somebody here who I think we exchanged, at least 100 emails. He is finally here. It's Bill Hicks from the Casitas Water District. I can't believe you're here. Is this a dream? Somebody mentioned you. So, I want to get down to it. I talk way too much, and this is all about you, and I really enjoyed the calisthenics, so we had just to warm up, and, I guess the first question I want to ask you, where did this all begin in terms of where you were raised and born and all that? Let's start there.
It began in Iowa in 1939. And my mom and dad moved to California when I was 2 years old because of the war. And my dad went to work for North American Aviation, which became North American Rockwell. And we lived in Culver City. I went to kindergarten through the 4th grade in Culver City, and then we moved to the big city of Mojave.
Mojave.
That's like
that's a sarcasm, right?
Yeah. And my dad was transferred to Edwards Air Force Base. He worked at the North Base out on the super secret, SR-71, I think they called it.
Population hasn't really grown since.
No, it's about the same as it was. And they used to have a sign outside of the town that said, "Yes, the wind blows like this all the time." So don't ask. And let's see, from Mojave, my dad and mom moved down to Palmdale because my dad didn't want me riding the school bus for half an hour every day each way or more. And so we went to the big town of Palmdale. And then I went down to LA High School, played basketball there, and lucky enough to get a scholarship down to UCLA to play basketball.
That's pretty cool, though. What are some of your memories of your mom and dad? Does that sound like you had a great support system?
Yeah. I was an only child, so I guess that helped. I didn't have a lot of siblings to be with, although I always wish I'd had a brother or sister or whatever, but I never did. But my mom and dad were very loving and supporting of me all my life.
So what were some of your memories in your high school years that basketball was something you were really into?
That's a good question, because we had to ride the bus. We were in the old Channel League, which was Oxnard, Ventura, Santa Barbara, Santa Paula, Fillmore, and Hart High School. That was the old Channel League. So we had to ride from Antelope Valley all the way over here every time in a bus. No freeways, just Sierra Highway, 2-lane 126. So by the time we got here, it was...
And we're talking about the Ricky buses, not the airline street, the television streets, and the reclining seats.
We had good teams. We could never beat Ventura, although we did finally beat him my senior year. Bob Tuttle had great teams all those years.
Didn't have a chance to meet him.
Now Bob Tuttle, yes, and his daughter, Trudy Arriaga, is the superintendent of schools in Ventura.
And Gary is a world-class distance runner.
Gary's a big distance runner, for Boston Marathon and the whole deal. So I had a connection with Ventura for a long time. And Oxnard had some great teams back then too.
Always has been. Great wrestling teams, volleyball teams. So you go from this small town of Mojave to Brentwood, UCLA Bruins, and play for this gigantic under King John Wooden. Talk to us about how that transition.
It was a big transition, that's for sure. I remember going through a rush. I didn't have a sport coat, so I borrowed one from my buddy. It was like 2 inches longer than my hands. I went through a rush and I joined the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity. And then, of course, we had basketball. And I set out my first year because Denny Crum, who became the Louisville coach.
Yes.
And All-American, the Hall of Fame, I should say. And so I set out that year, but I played the next 3 years, and I was like third guard, Walt Hazard, and Johnny Green, both All-Americans. They kind of kept me on the bench for a while, but I did start 5 games, and I was high point man in 1 game.
Wow.
So, and I played in almost all the games, and so it was a good career for me. I eventually became president of the fraternity, and so that was a big issue for me. I spent more time in the dean's office on Monday morning trying to get our guys out of trouble. Dean Bruder knew me by my first name. What happened today?
So you went from having no brothers to having several brothers.
Yeah.
And fraternities.
Yeah. fraternity is a great learning experience and a great leadership opportunity. You make connections that you keep all your life.
So you had some brothers, some friends who probably would not be here for where they were had not been for your help and your security and getting them out of trouble.
Well, it wasn't that much trouble. But
Do they still send you royalty checks and all that stuff?
Yeah, I never thought of that, Peter.
Well, maybe we should start contacting them. So, to be able, so we talked about this, to be under the leadership of John Wooden, I mean, that's got to be something that sticks with you the rest of your life. My gosh, the man, the legend, John Wooden. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, we were discussing earlier, at that point when I was there, Coach Wooden was a great coach and all that on the West Coast. But nationally, he wasn't that well known at that particular point, although he was an All-American at Purdue, but as a coach, he wasn't, But our team was the first Final Four team, and the stuff that you learn from coaching it just sticks with you the rest of your life. All the books he's read, and then I come up with little sayings that it's preparing to, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. It's what you learn after you know it all that really counts. It turns over my head almost every day.
Now, he probably hadn't developed his pyramid of success, but
I think he had been working on it for many, many years, and I think it was pretty well developed, but he never really used it on us as a motivational thing.
Maybe just subconsciously in terms of how he treated you.
Yeah, I think so. But I always had it in my office, when I was
pyramid of success.
Yeah. People would come in and they'd be unhappy, they'd come in, my car quit on the freeway, and what are you going to do about it? And then look up and go, you played for John Wooden. And from that point on, it was like, oh boy, yeah, it's not that bad. What can we do to get
Now, so what were some of the things that rubbed off on you in his style that is a part of who you are now?
Well, I just think hard work is probably the biggest thing, just keep your head down and do your job. And do the little things. It's what you learn after you know it all that really counts.
Yeah. Now, again, being an outsider, but I've always heard things like, he always had the small basics, like how to tie your shoelaces. Can you clarify that? And
he did do that. He was a stickler for detail and business, when practice was all business. And about the worst thing he could say to you is, Bill, don't make me get down on you now. Okay, coach.
Is that kind of a scary thing?
Oh, that's a very scary thing. Goodness gracious sakes alive, if you ever said that, I knew you really made a mistake.
It's saying we're talking about John Wooden, but this is who you are. But he was known for his foul language. The worst he did was, gee willikers, doggone it, that type of thing. So hopefully that rubbed off on you too.
He claims that he heard him say damn once.
He was talking about Hoover there. So you had this experience, then going to the real world. Did you get married right out of college, or?
Well, it's kind of a funny thing. I went to work for Ford Motor Company right out of college. I was there for 7 years, and so I moved over to SC because I was closer to Pico Rivera before they had an assembly plant. So I didn't have to drive so far. Well, so I roomed with an SC basketball player, Bill Parsons, and he had another roommate who was going with this girl that I ended up marrying. But they broke up, and I had to move down to Manhattan Beach because I got a free car because I could take cars to the airport for the big shots coming from Detroit. So I figured that out pretty fast. So I had like 10 cars down at Manhattan Beach at the library, and I was the most popular guy in town. And I always told my wife, that's why you married me. I gave you a brand new Falcon convertible to drive. I was so in love. I mean, she'd have cracked the car up, I'd have been fired.
So you had everything, former UCLA, the looks, the car, the image of success.
Yeah.
So you guys have been married how long now?
Well, we just had our 50th anniversary.
Wow.
Let's see,
wow.
June 16th. I got
June 16th.
I think that's right. Better be right.
Let's just say that it is. So any offspring that are continuing away?
I have 3 daughters, and they all live in Ventura, and we have 7 grandkids, so we're busy babysitting.
Wow. I'm sure your daughters are very empowered and
they're good kids. They're all good kids.
No, that's
very
good.
proud.
And you're still in the automobile?
No, I retired in '06. I got out of business, and I've been retired since then.
Now, I know you're not the retiring type, because obviously you're in the public figure office.
Well, this has been a real fun thing for me being on the water board. It got me into an area that I knew really nothing about. And one of the directors came to me and asked me if I was interested in being on the board. And I thought about it a little bit. And I thought, you know, why not? Because, you know, I'm from Iowa, I had a lot of farmers in my family, and water's so important to agriculture and everybody else, of course, and I thought it'd be, he said they wanted somebody with some business experience on the board, so I said that I would do that. So I got appointed because he was leaving, and then I stood for election 4 times and won for 2 times, and 2 times nobody ran against me, so I've been on the board for 25 years,
Wow.
and I'm president of the board right now. I've been president 4 times, it's a rotation type thing. But it's been a lot of fun for me. I've learned a lot about water that I didn't know about. And it's such a critical issue for people that I feel honored to be able to have that position, you know, because nothing more important than water, especially right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now that you're in profile, I can't think of anybody actually